let's have a chat with a jolly good friend of ours. Hello, it is me, the Invertebrarian, and the wee man. Put me down, and today we are putting him down. Not that way, but that way. And today we have an interview with. Please do enjoy. Hello, it's me, the Invertebrarian, and the wee man. Say hello, wee man.
Hey, wee man.
Look at the awesome t-shirt wee man is wearing. Hey! And today we are joined by none other than our very, very good friend, Spydey Vee. Spydey Vee. Spydey Vee. How are you?
No, good, thanks. How you doing?
Now, I don't know if you're aware of this. I did actually put out a poll on my channel asking people who they would most like to see interviewed, and your name was one of the ones that was thrown up. So, sir, you are unlucky enough to be next.
Yeah.
Next in the firing line. Can you, audio's okay? You can hear me just fine?
Yes, I can hear you great, yeah.
So,
can
you
you hear me right? Because I never know this PC of mine.
Yeah, right. So obviously we will go with the obvious questions first and foremost to kind of establish a baseline of where we're going with this. And that is obviously describe for people watching this, all two of them, which will be me and you. Describe your channel but tell people about your channel.
Oh, well, it's not really a lot to tell. So I got myself a couple of tarantulas. Well, I got one tarantula after I kept a few tarantulas before, and I didn't have any luck with them. I actually lost all three of them in the space of about 2 days, and I gave up for a while, about a year or so. But I got inspired watching videos again, and yeah, so I started up about a year ago, and yeah, that's where I'm now. I've got the 5 T's still, and I decided to start a little channel.
So how did you settle on the name? What inspired the name Spydey Vee?
Well, I was wanting to start a little YouTube channel, but I didn't know what to call it. So obviously Spydey being like spiders and so on, and my brother since little has always called me V. So I thought, okay, well, Spydey Vee, we'll put them together. Well, it's kind of just stuck. So I wondered about changing it a couple of times, but I know I kind of like it. So I thought, well, there's no point in changing it if I like it really.
No, that's cool. I like it. It's got a personal touch to it as well. What are your hopes and dreams there? We will get on to, obviously, there's big. You've discussed your big news, so there are going to be things changing. But when you established your channel, when you went into it, what were your hopes and dreams? What were your goals for the channel? Taking out, obviously, the impending future. At the time when you did it, what did you want to gain out of it?
Well, it was just purely from my side. I just wanted to enjoy what I was doing and put it out there because I'd seen a lot of people doing it, and I thought, well, I might as well just try and see what kind of response I get. I wasn't expecting to get the kind of response that I did, kind of, you think starting off that your mom will be the only one watching. But it's kind of worked out nicely. But as far as the goals were concerned, I didn't really know what to expect or what it would actually end up developing into. So I don't really know that I had any goals for it in the beginning. It was just basically purely to put it out there and just show people what I was doing, and hopefully they'd enjoy it.
I've said a million times over, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was too afraid to even sort of breathe on camera. I was sat there holding my breath trying to film like 1 minute long videos, if that, with the fear of somebody might hear me. I must apologise for the noise as well. We've got kiddies' toys and stuff, and that's the joys of having a 3-year-old wee man and sitting near his toy shelving. So what inspired you, or who inspired you to set up a YouTube channel? And do you think those inspirations or the people that have inspired you have changed as the channel has grown, or as your opinions have changed, as you've learnt more?
I have learned a lot. The main, well, it's difficult to pinpoint somebody specifically who was, a big part of the inspiration of starting the channel. Because what I used to do is just go on YouTube and type in tarantula and just press play, and I'd watch whoever's video came up. But one that I really liked, and it's going to sound like a cliche, it was Petco from the Dark Deep. Because English is not his home language, and he was putting out these videos with such confidence and everything. I thought, well, let me maybe try, because he's got such guts doing it. Why would it be any different for me? But then again, there were so many others, and I didn't even know who these people were. So there's probably a lot of them I still don't know who they are. But so I think instrumentally he might have been the got me inspired really to to start it. But as if you're looking for a name, it'd probably be Petco. Yeah.
I wasn't specific looking for what I was just merely asking who or what inspired you, but Petco would be. What aspects do you enjoy most about doing YouTube then? And on the opposite of that, what kind of is your least favourite aspect of YouTubing? Being a tuber, what do you like about being a tube?
I think for me, it's actually the interaction that I get from the people, with the comments that come in, and meeting new people and seeing like new people that I have no idea who they are, but they're subscribing to the channel. That's very, very rewarding for me, because you think, your friends, they'll subscribe, but when somebody you actually don't know from anybody, or from anything subscribes, that's rewarding for me. And I like interacting with the people.
Yeah, I've met some rather creative and colourful characters having done this. I mean, there's some mad South Africans that I've met,
Yeah, what's wrong with those people?
Well, I don't know. I'm saying nothing.
So,
what sort of sparked your interest then in keeping tarantulas or spiders or exotic pets? What ignited that passion for you?
I don't really know. Since I was little, I always used to run around and play in the garden, and I remember being about 4 years old. My dad was working in the garden, and I had an old mayonnaise jar that I swapped from my mom, and I was running around in the garden just picking up random spiders. I probably had about 200 of them eventually in this little mayonnaise jar, just climbing all over each other. So, the interest has always been there. But I think with tarantulas, I was about 14. A friend of my mom's from church, he had a son who was in high school, and he had two king baboons that he kept in budgie cages, of all things, wire cages. And he used to cut raw steak into little cubes and swing it on a string in front of the tarantulas, and they, thread pose, and then they grab it. And then that was something that really kind of got me interested. But at that stage, I didn't really know where I could even get one. So, yeah.
I thought, aren't the baboon species banned in South Africa, though?
They are. But the king baboon, they actually sell them here because they're not a local species. I actually saw one in the store the other day, and I thought, if I was staying here, I would have actually taken it. I would have definitely taken it.
I've now got the most craziest images of like these baboons in little wire budgie cages with dollops of steak swinging about in front of them. If I have mad dreams tonight, Vic, I swear to.
That's what you were saying about the mad South Africans.
Yeah, well, I was starting to wonder whether there was still mayonnaise in the jar or not, but the whole budgie cage threw me off that line of thought. What would you then advise, other than budgie cages, to somebody that was thinking of starting into exotic pet keeping and following on from that, starting into becoming a YouTuber?
I think everybody would say the same thing. Is just make sure that you are capable of taking care of the animal before you take it on. because when I took on my first tarantulas, I had no idea what I was doing, and I think that's probably, well, most definitely a big part of why they ended up not being with us today. But so definitely do your research. Make sure that you know if you're going to be taking on a spider, make sure what spider it is. You've got correct care for it. You're getting the right enclosure, that kind of thing. So it's definitely important that
not
you
budgie cages.
so don't use budgie cages for the species tarantulas.
Especially not with budgies in them. How do you decide on the names for your spiders then? Your Lady Deathstrike Kong and that. Where does the inspiration come from? How do you decide?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just strange.
Maybe it's just an insight into your mind.
Well, the Lasiodora difficilis it's quite a big, chunky spider when they're adults, and I thought, well, Kong, King Kong, that was that one. The Nandrochromatus, that was just based on the coloring, the red, black, and white, and Kratos from God of War, he was red, black, and white. Then the Grammostola rosea, that's like a nice deep brown, as it is now. So that was like grizzly bear, so I call it grizzly. and for the other Nandrochromatus, the big female, I called her Ochoco, because when I went to the store, it was a store that didn't actually cater for tarantulas at all. Just a little girl came running in with this little enclosure with this big Nandrochromatus in it, and she put it down and said, "My parents said I'm not allowed to have this anymore. Can I swap it for hamster food?" So anyway, they said to her, well, she didn't know what it was, so they thought it was a Choco golden knee, the Grammostola pulchribi. So they sold it to me as a Choco golden knee. So I called it Choco. But fortunately for me, I knew what it was.
My very first ever big tarantula I bought, I toyed over the idea for quite some time. They had them in almost one of these little cricket feeder kind of tub things in this heated unit in the back of a shop. Some customer brought in and told them it was a Brachypelma vagans, the red rum. Now, this thing was at least twice the size of the Brachypelma vagans, but anyway, fell in love with it, decided I was going to buy it, and that ended up becoming Ripley, because it was the biggest thing I'd ever seen. I just had images of, the face huggers. So that was the reason Ripley ended up becoming Ripley. Sadly, she will always be probably one of my favourites. She was a Lasiodora Klugi, was what the
Klugis are great. I wish I could get
the community pretty much agreed. Obviously, nobody knew exactly what this was, but pretty much everybody agreed it was a Klugi, and Ripley she was. So we've kind of briefly touched upon, obviously, Petco, the Dark Den there. Well, if you were to recommend 3 channels, and I can only apologise about the wee man and his noisy toys over there. He's doing laps around the floor with a train and a noisy car thing. So, sorry, people. Never work with kids and animals. 3 favourite or 3 recommended channels for people to contemplate and subscribing to.
Well, I love yours, obviously, but so that's ours. Okay, so I can't say that one because everybody says that one, but that's a given.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy Carolina's tarantulas. Andrew's Exotics now.
Jesus,
I love his takedown videos. Those are just and information-wise. There's a toss-up between. There's 3 of them that I really love, which is Tarantula Haven, Alex. He's amazing, and Tom Moran, such a nice guy as well. And Dave from Eerie Arachnids. Everybody, he's such a good friend of mine now as well. So you kind of. But there's so many. There's a lot of ones in the UK that I don't want to go and list everybody because that's cheating.
Yeah.
But I think those.
I need to take this.
Yeah, I've said already.
Yeah, you can play with a different car. Look, apologise to Vic for all the noise you're making. Say sorry, Vic. I'm making lots of noise.
No.
Okay. Right. So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, don't stress, man. He can play. He's little. It's what he's supposed to do.
Karen, beep beep. No. I'm just thinking of everybody trying to watch this, and all I can hear is
Shame, man.
So obviously we have to then touch upon the fact you have announced it. I've known for quite some time. We've spoken on and off about the move to the UK.
Yes,
a big
yeah.
life-changing move to the UK. Why necessarily? I'm not going to go into the whole the reasons as to why you're moving, and that's a by the by. But why what made you think like, right, we're going to move to another country? Let's go to Scotland. not even like a nice wee warm area like Brighton or something. Let's go to Baltical Scotland. What made you choose Scotland?
Well, it was a mixture of a lot of things. First of all, there was just education for the kids. That was paramount. We needed to make sure that we had a decent education for the kids, and all of the reading up that we've had, Scotland came up tops in a lot of the forums that came up, the Scotland's education system. So that was obviously one. And then my mom-in-law's coming with us as well, so she's got friends up there, long-time family friends, so there'd be a sort of support base for us there too. So yeah, so that's
is there any obviously Scotland and the UK has some peculiar tastes in foods, and I'm pretty sure the same is applicable for South Africa. Is there any sort of culinary delights you're really excited about sampling for the first time when you arrive in the UK?
I don't know. Like, I know of a few of them that I haven't obviously tried before. Haggis is one that I hear you have to try haggis. Doesn't matter what, whether you hate it or not. So that's one of the things. So
you've never tried haggis at all?
No, never. I've heard about it, and so yeah. So that's something I'm tentatively looking forward to. So I just don't know.
I personally really like haggis, but it's awesome.
Okay. Yeah, I hear that it can be an acquired taste, but I suppose you have to try it to know.
It's awesome. It's awesome. What about like a deep fried Mars bar or something? Are you going to give that a go?
Oh, no, that's a given, eh? I'll have to have those. I'm already chubby as it is, but I think that'll put me over the top.
Have you ever tried them? No.
No. We have Mars bars here, and bar one was very simple. It's very, very similar. So,
do you think when you move to the UK, because obviously the entire hobby to a degree will be quite different. Obviously, in terms of you get tanks, you put exotic pets in them, and you look after them, and you do the best job you can. But there's a lot of things where you currently are, could walk out into your garden and find. For example, African twig mantis. The Papa Scurp or whatever it's called. I think you found one of them out in your garden, whereas in the UK that's something we would pay money for, and the likes of some of the millipede species and stuff. Do you think it'd be quite weird coming to the UK and then actually having to spend money on something that you would have normally found out in your backyard?
Yeah, I think that might be quite weird, because I know that the Daemon diademas on your side are quite sought after. The whiptail scorpion. Now we've got spans of them running around in the backyard, and my pool pump has got a few. Has got a few of them in there, like good ones too. So it's something we see on a daily basis virtually. But over there, you pay big money for them.
Yeah, so, over here you're going to be paying.
I think that would be something to get used to as well. So, but
I didn't realise you had. I mean, I've got one in a tank down there. I had two, but I gifted one away to Stick and Mix. But yeah, things like that. I was thinking of this earlier when I was speaking to you, and I was thinking it must be quite odd to think about the fact that there's all these things you just take for granted out in your backyard.
Yeah, and I get money for them.
That across here, we're like, holy cow! How can I get my hands on one of them?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're afraid of? Is there any bugs, beasties, critters that you're wary of?
Oh yes, definitely.
Could be very different.
tarantulas I'm great with now. After having these, but these are all New World as well. So I'm a bit worried about getting my first Old World. I think particularly if I go towards the Piscilaterias or the ornamentals, but like things like wolf spiders, huntsmen, those kind of things. I'm a little bit freaked out by still. Those because Sir Peter Webster offered me some of those millions of spiders that he's got that just hatched, and I had to say to him, "Oh, Pete, tell that I'm not ready for those yet."
Well, you tell him yes, and then you send them to me, you goon.
Yeah, I'll change my mind and spend 4 of them on to you.
Peter, I hope you're not watching this, because that's that plan, Scunnard. Or Webster.
Yeah, you might end up sending you about 50 of them just in case.
Yeah,
so,
especially if plans gone awry. So have you already kind of created in your mind, have you already started creating your UK shopping list for once you've settled and established yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I've got a big list, and I want to keep the same ones that I've got here too. But for the sake of bragging rights for the South African guys, I really want to get some of the Ceratogyrus species. That'll be cool. So, but anyway, but one thing I must say I'm a bit worried about as well is over here with the temperatures that we have, everything is so easy to keep because our winter months are warmer than your summers. So,
I think it's
so these guys we don't need heating for anything like that. So I'm a bit worried about keeping temperatures right and that kind of thing. So I'm going to have to.
Well, I'm kind of thinking how you're going to adapt, let alone once you start keeping it.
Yeah, for me, I think it's going to be a real challenge because I think we tell ourselves, we're prepared. We know it's going to be cold, but I don't think we know how cold it's going to be. So I think as
well, it's in some ways you're almost going to have to relearn how to keep things that you're really confident keeping. You could keep them so easily where you are, but it's almost like relearning that species when you're coming across into a different environment.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty much why I kept the specific species that I've got because they're kind of on the same equatorial level that we are. So their husbandry would be pretty much the same as there's no real effort that needs to be put in.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
I mean, to be honest, my house is we have oil heating throughout our house, oil heated radiators, and so far, I mean, I'm roasting just now. I actually had a vest on until I put my logo T-shirt on for the sake of this interview. I don't actually know what the temperatures are. Anyway, moving away from the weather forecast, it's drizzly. We're in Scotland. If I believe this is actually one of your questions, if tarantulas became a dominant species, what like the dominant species on Earth, what species do you think would overthrow mankind, and why? And please substantiate your answer.
What species would overthrow mankind? Tarantulas specifically.
Well, I believe this was your question, so.
I can't even remember asking it. Sure. I think it would most likely be probably something towards. Oh no, I think I've stumped myself. I don't know.
Right. Okay. Right. I got you. Right. What big hit do you think would be next in the charts for Inverta V Productions? Obviously, following on a huge success of the last song that apparently, or using its original title, created a copyright problem.
No, you serious?
I got notification a copy. For those of you that don't know, Vic and I did an adaptation of Wheels on the Bus, and we called it the Wheels on the What? Question mark. And somebody actually put in a copyright claim against us using that title. So I think we changed it, didn't we? I can't remember what we changed it to, but anyway.
I didn't know that. Right, Benjamin.
It was ridiculous. So what's next? What do you think should be next on the?
I think. Yeah, we've done a couple of things between. We've discussed a few things very lightly. What? I don't know. You stump me now. You know, you can think of these things all off the bat. But I'm feeling
we'll come up with something.
All right, that this is
let's imagine we've released the next big hit of Itsy Bitsy Teeny Weeny tiny little abdomen spinneret and spidery thing. I've got a wheel on my shoulder.
What I did think about is maybe having a lot of clips of tarantulas in the thread post, and having that the Ugly Kid Joe song, I Hate Everything About You. But I didn't know how I was going to do that.
The cogs are ticking. So when Inverted V Productions are monstrously huge, as we're obviously going to be,
watch out, Simon Cowell. We're coming for you.
Watch out. You know, Green Day's American Idiot hit Broadway. So when we make the musical of the phenomenon that is Inverted V, who do you think would best play you in the adaptation?
Where are you coming up with these questions, man? Oh no. The lead singer from Nickelback.
All right, okay.
I like his voice. I don't know what his name is.
His name's just gone right on my head, actually. Danged it. Right, anyway. Somebody will, I think you don't do that in the comments.
I could have said Sting, but I don't know. Sting.
You Moving on. Okay, this is actually... Yeah, we better move on. This is actually your final question. You'll probably be glad to know. And it's a little brain puzzler, because I thought perhaps we hadn't got your gears ticking quite sufficiently with the previous 3 questions you've not answered. So, what does a cow have 4 of that a woman only has 2 of?
Legs.
Hey! You got that one.
I had to think about that one for a little bit. Yeah.
Vic, that is actually all your questions. Thank you ever so much. It's been interesting.
So, you're the weakest link. Goodbye.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye. You haven't won your million. You are the weakest link, and you're not 15-1. And you've probably no idea what I'm on about. No. But anyway, Vic, I can only say thank you ever so much. Now, obviously, for anyone watching this, Vic's channel probably will go a bit quiet over the next wee while. Please remain subscribed. That is most important, first and foremost. And for anyone watching this, please do go and subscribe to Spydey Vee. Vic will be back. He will be creating very fun, informative, quirky, Vic-esque styles of shenanigans, hopefully with a few little collaborative pieces thrown into there. But yeah, that is all that's left for me to say. A huge thank you from me and the wee man, who's now there eating a Kinder Egg, and he's about to come round to ask me to open the Kinder Egg. Quick, come. It's a mystery for all. What have we got? Do you get Kinder Eggs? You probably get Kinder Eggs.
Ours look different to those, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's got... It's a minion toy. Woo-hoo. Right, come and say bye-bye. Right, but thank you ever so much for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe. And of course,
thanks for having me, Adam.
Spydey Vee, loads of support. Thank you ever so much. And it's a goodbye from me, the Inverted
Cheers, everybody.
A goodbye from the wee man.
Cheers, wee man.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oi. Bye-bye, wait.
Cheers, mate.
Speak to you soon. Thank you so much, mate.
Yeah. Cheers later. Cheers, then.
Bye.
So that was, of course, an interview with Vic, or Spydey Vee as he is known on YouTube. Now, please do support his channel. As we said in the interview, he will go quiet for a little while he's transitioning between the UK, transitioning to the UK from South Africa. My apologies, this interview hasn't been brought to you sooner. As I explained to Vic, we spend that much time chatting and video calling and voice messaging and Skyping and catching up that I, in my head, had already done this interview with him. So Vic, I'm really sorry, and to the people that had asked for this video to be made, I hope you enjoyed it, and please do like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you ever so much for watching. Take care and bye bye.